definitely an interesting one. Tundra on International, not performing that well against Aster, but that was only one series at one major. Let's see what they can do here at TI-11.
Yeah, you can't really take much from that. I continue to go back to, and as we know, and we find out every single year when it comes to TI, so much can happen and so much can change by the time we get to it. You know, which of these teams will start to rise at the right time and have it connect all together, and which others are certainly, you know, setting up for maybe not as good of results in the end. So, but the journey ahead of us, speaking of a journey ahead, Snaking, he's going to explore 5 heroes all of a sudden, and that's going to be an easy first blood for the way of Aster. It's just a matter of who wants to take it. It will be Jakiro.
It's okay, guys. I made space. Snaking, the lanes haven't spawned yet. No. It's one of those rough ones. I mean, Aster, they're going to look for that rotation. CM doesn't really have a way of being protected. When you're a Tusk mid, you don't want to necessarily be forced to skill early, although you had to go for the shards. A lifesteal is not going to protect you. But you know you have to have someone out there ready to try and snatch that bounty. And also the ward comes down early from Aster. Something to keep in mind with these drafts, by the way, is that Aster's kind of funky in the way they play the game. They typically don't go towards objectives, and you can kind of see that from their lineup, right? They don't necessarily have a great Roche-taking lineup early on. They don't have a great way of pushing towers early on. The weird part, though, is they always make it work because of how efficient they are at farming. So what I want to see from Tundra is brawling. A lot of brawling that prevents that space that would allow Aster to be greedy.
Interesting note about the laning phase, though, here as we've seen. It definitely makes sense when you really think about it. Of course, Mars is heading to the top lane for Aster, and you have Luna setting up at the bottom lane down here. So they certainly want to get the Mars matched up against that Broodmother, but we're already seeing the lane swap coming out on the other side.
Yeah, but they already lost the battle. This is very gambly what happened here. 33 is like, please don't click my inventory. Please don't click my inventory. Do not notice that I used the TP down here, because if they notice that detail, they can just TP swap the lanes.
And they're not doing that just yet. Instead, XXS going to focus on that creep farm up top. You know, maybe after the first creep wave, that is actually a possibility. But the mind games have already begun, and Baboka, not necessarily trapped in, but taking a nice fissure, and will take some harassment damage. But you take a look at the split view. How about this? Look at that middle right there. We got a Primal Beast versus a Tusk. Who would have thought this would be a mid matchup coming into TI-11? And I got to think not many.
It's the battle of amped up physical damage, right? One has to click the hero, the other just has to click the ground around with the trample. I'm kind of curious to see how this one will play out, especially considering the way that Tusk's level is different. It's not about tag team anymore. And in fact, we can already see this from 9. Point in Snowball and point in Ice Shards. Pretty cool choice as well, because it means that he can dodge out the tramples indefinitely on this lane.
I already saw that coming into play, as he's 8-1 against the 6-2 Primal Beast. Bottom lane, though, you got 5-2 Luna up against the 5-1 Broodmother right now. So yeah, making the decision to actually stick with this in the end. Of course, with that Mars protecting the Luna down here at the bottom lane. Very confident that she's still going to be able to get her good farm. As I say this, he is, again, getting somewhat trapped in, but not necessarily the biggest of deals.
It's a possibility that they did just kind of somewhat want this. That the lifesteal would farm maybe well in either lane because Luna's short-ranged anyway. And at least this way Mars can still deal right because he isn't up against the Shaker maybe catching him off guard. Instead, you've got this matchup with Jakiro CM top, which I'd say is a good one for Jakiro. Like, Jakiro is a bully and CM doesn't do good on her own.
Speaking of Jakiro, Skitter's dead. That was all XXS initially right there with the spear, but Jakiro there to assist plenty of damage. And yeah, not a hero you'd expect to go down early on.
Now that was weird, actually. He just stepped up past XXS. In fact, it's kind of weird when you look at the movement speed. He shouldn't get caught off guard that easily. Just good reaction out of XSS and punishing the lifestealer before he reaches that key point where you put a point in the rage. So nice maneuvering, and one that he would have been informed of because he would have noticed both the Ghoul Frenzy and the Feast effect on him.
That's true, yeah, no rage yet. But TP's back in and continue that CS for the time being. But XXS, of course, feeling pretty good about what happened right there on his side. What kind of Tusk build are we thinking here, by the way, as they're clashing in the mid lane? But I gotta think more of like that Shadow Blade, more of the, you know, get in there, initiate style build, or is this damage even? I mean, let's go. Silver Edge, baby.
One of those classic pub stomp builds, yeah. I mean, it could definitely be one way to go. It'd be very ambitious, though, in this game. I think the more likely one, we're going to see a Falcon Blade because it's just a really good item, this hero. In conjunction with the regen from the CM, you're always going to spam spells. And then maybe just kind of your Ags Blink build. It sounds kind of underwhelming on a mid, but you just take the role of the ganker. I mean, you say it's boring. Come on. Is the Warrior's Kick really boring? That thing is
not
low-key
really, no.
busted right now.
That is pretty strong, actually. 3-3, bottom lane. No, they're fine. Rebound in. And it's just, again, the back and forth continues. So no kills happening at this bottom lane, but they're not afraid to trade blows.
It's actually kind of crazy to think how the small change to the Ags for Tusk changed everything about the way this hero works, actually. It's kind of reminiscent of Kunkka having his boat changed, so it wasn't just a fixed distance it had to travel. But it's not the same at all. It's like 10 times stronger than that, just because of the spam ability and what it does. The amazing thing now about Walrus Kick is that you're able to blink in, Walrus punch someone up, Walrus kick them out, and then snowball to get out to safety as well. And speaking of snowballs, it's going to be forced out of him. Siamese C is on the mid lane. Trample's going to come out, and 9 bit off more than he could chew here. Will be going down to the gank.
Yeah, Baboka going down at the bottom lane as well. Catching that barely on screen there, but a couple of trades. Obviously, though, you remind yourself that is a mid-tusk that went down for the side of Tundra, so certainly beneficial for Aster. Having the better of what just took place right there. But yeah, great rotation from Jakiro. Primal Beast back to farming now. Looking to finish his own phase boost. Crystal Maiden heading back up to the top lane where Skitter dancing away. But yeah, both the Lifestealer and the Mars very even in their CS amongst one another.
Oh, sorry. I was just going to say, it's one of those tough things with the Tusk is like, you've got this snowball, but until you got Walrus Punch, you can't necessarily protect from Ori because Trample lasts 5.5 seconds. So unless he's pre-trampling, which I don't think is ever going to happen in this lane, this will happen instead. He'll counter out with the charge in and then immediately pummel you down to low HP. In fact, killing him off. 9. He's not learning here. You cannot use the snowball in this lane.
Oh no, Ori just feeling extra spicy in this middle lane now. He has taken over the top net worth. By the way, this courier is also going to fall. Unfortunately for Snake King, had that being delivered. The sentry ends up falling. Bottom lane, Saksa might be dead here. Enchant Totem. Luna was able to dodge it, though, and Marcy with the get over here, disposed to make it happen, but 3-3 wants immediate revenge, chasing after another couple hits. Good salve, keeps her up a little bit longer, but not enough. Monet has another Lucent Beam in 2 seconds, though. 3-3, not out of the woods yet. He's limping around. That leg is hurt.
Reinforcements.
But 3-3 staying alive, and yeah, getting the reinforcements.
Yeah, Snake King is saving the day here. Monet ends up coming out the trade worse for wear. And I love that final move from Saksa. That fissure was like a middle finger up at your opponents as you die. Enabled him to get the return kill and even things up a little. But man, I just like, not to hop on it too much, I just want to come back to like random thoughts on what we're seeing in this mid lane. Because right now, like why is 9 feeding? Why is he dying? I want people to consider how often you get this matchup. Primal Beast is a new hero, and Tusk is not a popular mid. This is not an expected matchup, and it's just getting worse and worse for him now. The charge in, at least able to try snowball on the side, but his own shards keep him trapped in, and the trample through, followed up by the grab from the pulverize, will make sure he dies, and now he's without a TP to get back out quickly.
Yeah, this is just going downhill quickly for 9. Very unfortunate for the side of Tundra, but more the reason that they're really going to be relying on 3-3 especially to have a decent game here on this Broodmother. And right now, you know, doing okay, but need to be doing better. It almost feels like that Tusk perhaps should be looking more for a roam than going back to the mid lane, because that is now 0-3-0. Not level 6 yet, though, so that's easier said than done, especially. Doesn't have his Walrus Punch. Yeah, certainly going to need him to get fairly active and going to have to farm through the sense of getting hero kills here in the near future rather than those creeps kills, because it ain't working too well right now in the mid lane.
Yeah, it feels like once they got to this Tusk pick in the draft, I mean, I always come back to, because it's intertwined with so many elements of what's happening here, is that I think this is them trying to rectify their draft when they realized the early Brood pick was easily countered. Like, this is the weakness of an early Brood pick. If you look at the options that you could lane against, they're all bad. The Luna Jakiro will bully you out. You could not go mid because, well, think about what happened to Tusk. That would be happening to Brood and Spiders. And even in this lane you've been getting against, you know, like the Luna, like this was the best case scenario, because the alternative is you're up against the Mars. Speaking of which, Mars not able to connect with the arena. What they do is secure this tower, and there's no real exchange going on elsewhere. It's only Skitter poking at the tower top.
Yeah, I mean, they're going for the exchange on the tower, but they want to fight this, does Tundra. And unfortunately, not much of a fight to be brought. Instead, it's Crystal Maiden dead, and there is the secure of the tower, as mentioned. Now, they're counter-pushing the top and the mid lane, but I'm sure we're going to see some kind of reaction here from Aster.
You see what I mean about Aster and how they find a way of getting active with these heroes that maybe want to chill for a bit. Obviously, this draft is meant to bully a bit, but you wouldn't usually enable the Luna before at least level 6. Yet here they are doing it anyway, and 33 as a knock-on effect isn't really getting a game. Top lane, though, Siamese C thought he could come here and defend. he was gravely mistaken.
Yeah, he did not expect the Earthshaker to be up there. Without the Earthshaker, that doesn't happen, but he was looming in the trees and figuring he could just defend himself on that Jakiro. Not the case. So yeah, good capitalize at least from Tundra being played out right there. But you look at the already 2,000 net worth lead early on for Aster. A couple of important notes as well. The BKB for Primal Beast is in the works. Has the Ogre Axe. Going to be coming online in the near future, and that's a great item to have, of course, on that hero, especially as that initiator. Lifestealer working on the armlet. That's what you usually expect to see on this hero, feels like, over time. Not going to be different here. Gets that tower kill and is taking over the top net worth for the time being. So, he managed to get that armlet in decent timing. That's another one of those Lifestealer Tusk combo. I mean, that's obviously very good potential there.
Yeah, and speaking of this Tusk, like if the goal was to force attention onto the Tusk, it's gonna work as the game goes on, because even though Ori's going for this BKB, even when he has it, his only option is to get 9. Because otherwise there's snowball saves and there's also Walrus punches that can interrupt your pulverize. Speaking of which, another pulverize. Luckily he does have the haste this time, but you just see how hard this lane is and how absurd this spell is. Pulverize used, and yet we're only 20 seconds away from it being available again.
Yeah. Yeah, very, very short cooldown. 32, all the way to 24 seconds out level 3. That is
so
pretty crazy.
Insane.
Yeah, that single target lockdown there.
And then, of course, it gets it has that scalability we were talking about in the draft. Like, once you get to level 25, doesn't matter, they've got a BKB, they're still going up and down. All I'm waiting for at this point, by the way, is the day that Bloodseeker gets combo with this, because the rupture damage is, weirdly enough, quite effective with pulverize as it counts. Actually, that's a dumb thing right now. I noticed this. So pulverize, when you rupture someone, because you're lifting up and down, it does rupture damage. Here's an interesting comparative. Tusk Walrus Punch doesn't. That's weird, right?
Huh.
They're essentially the same thing.
Or almost like a Ravage from Tidehunter as well comes to mind, like we're gonna knock you up, like that idea, knock you up in the air. It should be universal. Hey, I mean, I agree with that. That seems like it makes sense. So
I need my consistency breaky, and as a result, I clearly want 4-star Bloodseeker days to come back. Okay, I'm a disgusting human being. I don't think any of us want the rupture strategies to return.
No. We're fine without that. We're in a better place, in fact. Top lane, they tried for the gank on a Skitter there, as we saw, though, and he was very quick to react with the rage. So Jakiro on second to smoke up elsewhere and goes mid. Now there's an easier ice path, and 9 in trouble. Has a snowball. Pulverize already committed. Baboka, speaking of commitment, unleashes used, and there's a dispose back in. 9, the shards. It's not going to matter. You got a rebound from Baboka. And the kill onto 9 once again. The struggles continue for the Tusk.
Oh, man. It's even more strugglish the way that went out at the beginning. Like, Baboka jumped in, denied the creep, and tried to drag him further back. Like, this Tusk is not getting to have a game at all. Doesn't even get the creep after all that bullying coming his way. Now, upsides is at least your lifesteal is doing well, but downsides is while you're taking this pummeling, 33's not had a great game. This Broodmother is meant to be ahead. She's meant to have a way of dictating mid-game, but she never stood a chance against this draft. It's going to put a lot of pressure on Skitter to carry this, and lifesteal is nowhere near ready yet.
Yeah, that's where I go back to, though. It feels like that there's going to be that point, ideally at least for Tundra, as long as this doesn't get too out of hand. Right now, it's not that. Skitter is getting his farm, we mentioned, and yeah, I believe the armlet's being delivered, right? So yeah, the Desolator queued up next, but you have that pairing I go back to with the Tusk specifically, that is. Now, you would want to blink on him first, ideally, but even without that, there is still that potential of the synergy. And as I say this, Tusk is rotating up top here to meet up with the Lifestealer, and it seems like Tundra in the spot of wanting to maybe make that play, make that timing play, as we're discussing.
Yeah, they're going to try to move into the jungle, maybe take some farm away from Monet, but this isn't the jungle they need to deny right now. It's actually the ancient area that's going to be more important. Just one TP to scare them away, toss in straight away, drag and skitter back, forces out the rage, and he can at least TP out. Will make sure it's not even that close. But my whole point is, like, you try to shout Monet in this area, you fail. Also, keep in mind, when you look in the safer area of the map, down in the ancient stack area, stacks are happening. So although Skitter has the lead right now, with Luna already enclosing upon him, Monet's going to take the lead in the next 2 minutes.
Very true. It's as soon as she goes over there, that net worth going to start skyrocketing for Monet. And speaking of Monet's farm, what is it? The Manta style? Yeah, pretty typical stuff. Dragonlance Manta style. Is this a BKB game? Yeah, I can definitely see it as a possibility here, but
yeah, like maybe fort fight him. I think you can afford to go that deep. I feel like it's very difficult to just tunnel vision onto Monet because of everything around him. The Mars, the Primal Beast, the Marcy, Jakiro. There's a lot of chaos that comes out of Aster's draft here. Meanwhile, Tundra is, I'd say, a little bit more orderly, a little bit more exposed, especially with this. The jump in on the 33 and immediately just wipes the Brood off the map.
You know, the difference, it's really going back to the point you made earlier, even going into this, like, Aster, just, they are playing clean as a team. It seems like they're making these right decisions. Now, hold that thought, because Marcy likely dead in the mid lane, left by herself, but Onslaught now going to be used by Ori. He's pissed off. He wants to kill Crystal Maid an eye for an eye. Definitely at least making that happen. And so ultimately that 2-for-1 when you factor in the Broodmother as well. But yeah, to that point, that great, they've used several smokes now. Another case right there of using that smoke as soon as the Blink's picked up on Mars, and they get a great kill on a 3-3 with it, where I compare that to what happened with Tundra at the top lane. And speaking of the top lane, it's a smackdown on a Tusk. Oh no, nice Nine again in trouble. Dodges, but is he out of here?
Yeah, that was a little bit mistimed there. The Pulverize ended a bit too soon, so the Spear wasn't able to connect quick enough. It's one of those awkward spells, actually, because I believe if you don't time it perfectly, then the Spear doesn't connect at all. But they're able to follow it up. They still hunt him down. You just see how difficult this game is for Nine, and he's only got 400 gold in the bank. He's still a mile and a half away from this Blink Dagger.
Ooh, Macropyre put down, trying to burn those Spiderlings and run away. Yeah, get a little bit of farm, I suppose, for Shakira. He'll take that, but he ends up going down in the process. And they see the stack. This is big. Now, what does Tundra do about the stack? They're not going to really feel comfortable committing. Yeah, I guess they kind of just walk away.
Yeah, you walk away. And I love when they're walking away, they just start getting stomped by the Centaur. Sax is like, guys, please don't go too quick. Please. Because we can't take this stack away. All they could do is try and delay it because they only found the Jakiro. Now, remember that point I said that was coming? About 2 minutes down the line where Mono is going to start to take the lead? We're almost there. And after this stack, it feels like Lifesteal is just going to lose the lead here.
For the time being, still barely hanging on.
Yeah, but think about the lead he had, right? Like, his lane was, I'd say, a lot more comfortable than how the Luna one began. It's not a hero you should be even with the Luna at this stage. You should be ahead. And speaking of things that are getting further behind.
Oh, no. Good arena right there just to secure it. Also keep out supports from helping 3-3 and XXS. He'll just TP to the bottom lane because they're trying to make more happen and save the Luna. But I think Monet stays alive and Saksa cannot commit for the kill. He has to turn around, only going to result in death at that point. But yeah, great TP rotation. That timing, they get the mid kill. And we saw immediately Mars TP'd bottom, the communication coming out. Excellent support and keeping their carry alive.
Yeah, and you just feel the pressure building on Skidder every time. Like, I just keep looking back and it's like, okay, so what are you doing in the meantime? Well, he's trying to farm, but Nine needs space as well because he's not a hero right now. It just feels like Aster are proactive. I think it's proactivity over reactivity is something I always try to preach in Dota 2, and we're seeing that here. Tundra are just trying to rush to put out fires that Aster are starting. They're never starting fires of their own.
Yeah, without that initiation tool, this lineup just cannot come online for Tundra. And I keep looking back at Tusk. Again, it goes without saying, not really worth beating the point, but the start did not go nearly as planned or hoped for Tundra, really with a Tusk especially. But hey, he's getting the Blink, 1,600 gold saved up. He is almost there. They need him to get that Blink to be able to feel enabled that they can make a play. And well, I suppose when they run at you like this, there's a possibility, but problem is he should be fine. He's got the onslaught, and yeah, easy getaway there.
As you see the absurd nature of this hero, right? And it's kind of funny because both of these mids have a similar role. Low cooldown brawl. But one's able to do it freely.
Brood.
And oh, speaking of brawling, elsewhere on the map, Broodmother caught out again. Ice Path follow-up, looking good. Nice save there, though. Skidder turns it around, keeps her alive, and instead, Baboka may won't go down, but no! He's able to beat the Broodmother into the ground. There's your 100 pick ban hero for good reason.
Yeah, Marcy, we've said this once or twice before. Marcy pretty good. Marcy pretty strong. And even as a support can still man up and make plays happen. But Boca doing so right there. Meanwhile, the onslaught forward, the smackdown on Tusk. And
Wait,
Skidder, you just got to run. Yeah, he already exactly. Without that being ready, you do not want to commit more. So a couple more kills for Aster's way.
Remember, Luna hasn't really been fully participating in this. So check the net worth now. Lead has been lost.
Yep, there you go.
Because Skidder has to arrive. The weird part is Skidder has to arrive and not really achieve much now because they just don't have great lockdown. They don't have great potential without this Tusk, who's still 400 gold off that Blink Dagger.
Yeah, I hate to say it. Really, it's just, I don't know. It feels like we're getting to that point of, maybe not no return, but it's Tundra. They down 6,000 net worth right now. I do gotta admit, though, I continue to be very impressed with Skitter's farm. The fact he has managed to still even compete and be up there with the Luna, despite how everything around him seems to be falling apart. At least is giving that hope, I suppose, for their side. But yeah, Broodmother with the Vlad's offering, working on the Wraith Pact. Get the Wraith Pact, you get the Blink on Tusk, then that's kind of the all-in, right? That feels like that's the all-in point for Tundra here in the next couple of minutes. Depending on how we're looking, the 20-minute mark could really determine the outcome of this game now.
Yeah, and quickly to your point around like the Lifestealer's farm, he's doing a great job farming, but he should be able to. Like Lifestealer is kind of a free farm hero in this game when you look at Aster's lineup. There's not really many ways they can stop him from just rage TPing out unless they perma-stun him instantly, which they don't have the greatest instant initiation here to do that. So Skitter should be okay for this time being, but this is kind of one of the issues. Like I love the Skitter always goes to these kind of safe, I can farm dangerous area heroes. Like historically, I always think of Lifestealer and Juggernaut for him. But the downside is like you're not really participating in this phase. Meanwhile, the Luna, she's already ready to go. I mean, we haven't seen an Eclipse come into play yet because it hasn't been needed. Imagine what happens when Aster add that into the fight.
Exactly. Yeah, it's that's something to look forward to. Well, from our perspective, not so much Tundra for them. But the Desolator finish, the Wraith Pack finish, and there is the Blink. So, KP, here we go. This is the time, exactly, for Tundra. Depending on what happens in this next engagement. And it feels like that they got to go. Like, they can't just sit on this now and continue to farm. A smoke play of sorts ideally will come out for Tundra. There we go. It's time. Can they find the initiation?
This is the best opportunity they're going to get. Moving up into the high ground. Limited vision for them, though. They're playing this blind, which is a dangerous way to play. XXS is going to be the vanguard at the beginning here, but he has the Blink Dagger to get out. Doesn't use it quick enough. Does throw down the arena, though. That can minimize casualties. However, Aster look ready to fight. Macropod come down on the side. Moving in now. Fissure onto two. Slowing them down. A follow-up stunts are good from Saxa. Tundra, they just want out of here. Minimum casualties if they can. Snaking is going to be first to fall, but he might not be the last. Ori getting a little bit overextended in this area. Now Skitter's going to turn around, forcing the BKB out. And Aster may have gotten a bit greedy here. Second kill now going the way of Tundra. The rest of Aster in retreat.
All right, there you go. Now, that's the hope for Tundra. Suddenly, they're actually back in this game. Like I said, it came down to that. I mean, and especially if they can capitalize with a Roshan kill, absolutely hope is still alive for Tundra. But yeah, it started with, honestly, the fact that XXX got the ultimate off in the first place was huge, and I thought that was going to prove to be the turning point in favor of Aster. But it didn't. I mean, Ori went a little too deep, got completely caught out of position, and you could tell Aster supporting cast around him at that point, especially, you know, Luna was a little too far away to feel comfortable fighting into it and kind of just throwing yourself in there. Only with the Manta style currently not finishing the BKB yet. So, yeah, great job for Tundra. They take Roshan. They have Lifestealer with an Aegis now. And the cool thing about this combo, too, is it's a pretty quick reset. They already got the Infest ready to go. Open Wounds Shard effect is in play as well. So Skitter's ready to fight again.
Yeah, I think what we saw from Aster here is the classic winning too much issue, right? Where you get overconfident, you feel like you can do anything and everything. And even when they get initiated on, they're still trying to turn these fights without even bringing the full power of all remaining 4 to these engagements. This should be the step back point for Aster, though. Nice attempt to try and grab Skitter there. Would have been brilliant because they had enough follow-up. They probably could have got through the Aegis and the second life. But nice dodge. So now I expect Aster to try and just wait out the Aegis, at which point Monet should be ready to fight. You mentioned that BKB is about to be completed, so they can easily look to go, and Tundra are feeling the same way about this. After such a good fight and now Aegis in their hand, they want to brawl.
But a double damage rune just spotted up by Primal Beast in the meantime, and it looks like they are lining up for a clash. There's the initiation, the Infest Bomb out, the quick kill on Jakiro.
Things coming out.
And that might be the end of it. Well, maybe not, KP. They find Baboka. No, not going to chase.
Oh, they found a big one. Monet. He hasn't got the BKB yet. It's still coming out. And I think they realize it. It's going to come in just in time, so he should be able to stand and fight. BKB gets activated. Mars with the arena coming down. The Eclipse full up as well to turn around. Shaker taken out. 9 down as well. Lifestealer left alone in the middle of a mess. And what a timing. That BKB arrived pitch perfect there and leads to Aster turning the fight.
It really did. Skitter locked down. The Aegis already used, and Skitter is likely to fall. The Rage going to keep alive a little bit longer. He doesn't have an Infest, though. He's got maybe the armlet play. There we go. And Skitter, is he actually getting out of here? Onslaught in 5 seconds for Primal Beast. Oh, the Ice Path connects, and there's the Spear follow-up. And the shield play from Mars to secure the kill. You are so right, though. I mean, that really was pitch perfect on the timing right there. for Luna getting the delivery of the BKB. Without that, I certainly don't think she lives, and who knows what the outcome of that fight is, perhaps even in favor of Tundra. So that's a feels bad man for them, but Aster, hey, you'll take it. Good job by them in the fight, and they're back up to about a 7,000 net worth lead now, and Luna still has yet to be killed.
And, man, I gotta give him credit the way Aster minimized the risk as well. Like, it was kind of high risk. If that BKB doesn't arrive, whoopsie-daisy, team in big trouble. But Boka's position was brilliant, though. He was set up to just try and shift his ally out of position with the dispose. In the end, he doesn't need to, so he rebounds out of that, stays alive, and manages to kind of dangle this lifestealer deeper. Like, force him to commit to what is a suboptimal play and put himself worse for wear in the end. Great fight from Aster to re-obtain control of the game. And now Tundra, they're going to start to hesitate, because without that second life and with how easy it is to get through Lifestealer twice, you need to be very careful about where you pick these fights now.
Also looking Broodmother, looking to be going into Axe, by the way. Almost 3,000 gold saved up on the Brood, so their spinner snare of possibility to be happening here for the Broodmother. And look forward to seeing that. The BKB on Tusk coming along, the Basher on Lifestealer. So yeah, some big items certainly coming out across the board potentially for Tundra. Kind of that next timing, you could say, as far as make another play with it. But they're going to try to make a play here. A 4-player smoke. The Infest is in onto the Tusk.
This is dangerous if they go bot. They're shifting towards mid. A better choice here. Hop straight in on the Primal Beast, and he's just gone. Could enable a push from the tower here. Aster unlikely to react now, considering that Primal Beast is the primary initiator.
God, I mean, that burst damage is just, it's insane. That's the Primal Beast right there that still evaporated to the combo. So yeah, man, you talk about how Tundra, again, they hit that timing around that 20-minute mark. They were able to make the play with it. And sure, they lost that previous fight thanks to the timing of the BKB delivery, but continue to show more hope that there's a possibility. And speaking of hope, XXS, can they get him?
They go locked down. Monet's coming, though. They've got Eclipse. He might be baited into a fight that could be very bad here. Echo Slam is going to be committed. XSS standing his ground. And Monet, yep, he pressed the button. The turnaround's going to come and punish him now. Snowball saves the day. BKB forced out Monet. They'll at least take out the Shaker, but XSS unable to stand, and Monet has to run.
Yeah, Monet's like, I'm out of here. We got the Earth Shaker, but with everyone here, I need to get the hell on out. So, with the 1-for-1, good rotation from Tundra, but great getaway from Monet and the decision to not commit to that fight at that point. He's got 3,000 gold saved up. He's working on that butterfly. You do not want to delay getting that at this point. So Tundra, though, going to keep the activity up. Infest is back online, ready to go. There's a double damage rune. Yeah, this is big for the side of Tundra. They pick this up. They're going to go hunting. Ideally the Luna, but they'll take what they can get.
I mean, you killed the Primal Beast in what felt like 6 hits, and now it'll only take 3, right? Right? Oh, man, this is such a tough game for Ori. Like, the lifesteal is the perfect counter, especially this type of build. If you don't get the uproar off, you can't frontline. In fact, right now, Aster has no one to frontline. Especially with Arena being on cooldown, the Mars dead, and Eclipse also not available for 70 seconds. They need to dodge every fight they can.
Oh, man. Yeah, 9 positioning. Not able to find it, though, and instead Skitter will come out and pick up some farm in the jungle. You see the scan even coming out from the side of Aster. Just a little bit delayed, but either way, you could tell they're suspicious of where the positioning is from the side of Tundra. Aegis still has, or more so Roshan, still has a while before that's going to be in play. Again, that was an early death on the lifesteal, remember, with the first Aegis that was picked up. So we still have over 2 minutes on the right timer before Roshan's even a possibility. So not going to necessarily play around that just yet, but still positioning themselves and want to make sure they control that portion.
And Aster aren't really rushing to that side of the map. If you actually look at Vision, they're just playing right side and entirely forfeiting Roche control because they know they've got a big window. And this leans into what we already highlighted about Aster. Like, they don't actually lean towards objectives much. There's nothing down here. The tier 2 is already taken. This is just about securing farm for them. They're looking for the next timing, and then they'll fight. And if a tower has to be given over or some map has to be forfeited, they don't care as long as they are getting the lion's share of the gold.
It's a 5-player smoke from the side of Aster. They're heading top lane, and they're heading right into the arms of Tundra. Skitter. Ooh, he's got a fist in 7 seconds. The onslaught opening. Now the pigs come out. They realize what's going on. Meanwhile, Primal Beast, a whiff, though. However, the reaction from Mars coming out with the arena by him. They locked onto the Earthshaker. Earthshaker's dead. Or the BKB. He's running after Skitter. He wants to pummel him. He's going to start pummeling him into the ground. And Monet here to assist with the damage. Her BKB's already been used, but it doesn't matter. The cleanup from Aster is here. The 5-for-0. They will take that.
hesitation versus conviction is the story here. Tundra, although they tried to open that up, although they looked good at the beginning, you can't help but feel that they were looking to run with their tails between their legs within 6 seconds of that fight. Once that arena was dropped in by XXS, panic set in. Tundra, if you looked on the flanks, their supports couldn't maneuver in. 33 couldn't get involved in the fight. You'll see it here in the replay. Everyone started to shift away. It was almost like there was a call to retreat, but you're too little too late. Everyone's stuck at this point. 33, as you can see, can never be involved. Skidder, despite the fact he has a DD, has to run constantly because of the early rage usage. Aster were brilliant in min-maxing their engagement. They made sure that when the Tundra side was strong with their DD, with their initiation, with the rage, they peeled. And then as soon as those cooldowns are set, as soon as they're not available anymore, boom, Aster go in full force. Brilliant play by Aster. Now up 12,000 net worth, and we said they don't prioritize objectives, but when you offer up the opportunity to take back-to-back tower for them off the back of Roche now spawning, they will take that.
Exactly, and that's what I was going to stress. They're going to go for the tier 1 top lane, but you look exactly how they're positioning themselves. They are positioning to do Roshan, who could potentially spawn soon, and this is a very fast Roshan spawn, about 30 seconds from the beginning. So in the next 20, it will be up. So they get the tier 1. They're probably going to keep this push up as long as they're not feeling any resistance, and then after the tier 2, likely go back to see about a Roshan, which he should be up by then. So it's a matter of how does Tundra respond to this. They are positioning in the dire triangle. Not necessarily, they have some information, I guess, over there, but
I mean, they know that Aster's coming to the high ground, and Aster knows they're not defending because of that deep ward, well, not deep ward, that safe ward in their ancient area. So they knew that Tundra was not playing in their own base, and they go for maximum punishment, taking out the tier 3.
And this is Luna. We all know what Luna can do, especially with farm when it comes to base destruction. You saw the tower melt, and as soon as that happens, the glaives start bouncing around. So yeah, you got to defend that if you're Tundra, of course. And they got to let you right, though. So Aster making the call to at least put the pressure on, make them fall back, reposition back to their base, and now they're going to come over here and look to check out Roshan. I got to think that they're going to go for it, though, right? Yeah, they're going to go for the Roshan.
Yeah, it's just on this classic, what in the love of Frisbees is this hero? Like the Luna, if you let her on your high ground for a sec, she's going to punish you. And no, they won't go for the Roche. They're not that fast. They're a good counter-attacker. They want Tundra to come into the pit first.
They're expecting this. Look at this. Tundra's like, they got to be doing it, right? I mean, just like we thought that they were going to do. But no, Aster, they're just next level, man. They're big-brained over here. They're like, nah, that's what they're expecting, so we're going to fall back. We're going to farm the jungle. We're going to 5-player smoke. And now all of a sudden, Aster has perhaps the upper hand as their 5-player smoking down the mid lane. Pings are coming out. Tundra is aware that's a possibility of XXS. Here we go, KP.
Jumping in. Arena is thrown out. Eclipse fall up as well. The charge through comes out from Ori. And they force the buyback out the CM straight away. BKB's used. Magic Immunity now gone. Tundra need to get out fast. Snowball is going to reset temporarily here. But 9 without a target and without a save will be screaming 9 all the way to an early death.
Well, considering that initiation, it honestly didn't go as bad for Tundra. And I maybe would have expected, but still, the expected outcome certainly there in favor of Team Aster. And now it's time for Roshan, perhaps. Monet at least checking in and saying hello. So I keep saying this if they're not actually doing it. I don't know.
They want him to come. They're like, please, no, we don't want Roche kills. We want hero kills right now. And they can start the fight on Mars. Charge through there again. Backline, intercepted 33, backing off from the snaking as well. And Skidder, without that rage, he knows he could die. Oh, no. This is always the issue. They can never get enough done when they have magic immunity because of how far Aster are ahead.
They really are just baiting them in over and over and over again. I mean, now, with this, that's actually, wow, that was really close to Baboka. You see the Ags effect coming into play from the Broodmother. That's a Spitter Snare, almost helping to get the kill on a Marcy, but Tusk is now back up, so I certainly understand what Aster was going for right there, and especially if they get those kills, and absolutely worth it. But they weren't able to get any further kills, and Roshan still stands for the time being. Now, to the point, obviously Aster's in a very comfortable spot. They don't necessarily feel like they need the Aegis. If anything, it's a point of contention where if Tundra wants to go further, then that is the time for them to fight. So Aster is all about trying to bait them out into these areas, and so they're going to keep it up for the time being.
Yeah, it's just you need this, we don't, right? We realize that we can actually win every single fight right now because you lack the burst to kill us in BKBs, as in when Tundra are using the BKBs. And as we've just seen, and as a highlight, every time those magic immunity options are gone, Tundra are just retreating. It's very perplexing to find a way for them to easily get back in this game. They need to split push their way back in. That means they have to forfeit Roche, and Aster finally realize it. Okay, if you're not going to throw your heads into the guillotine, we'll just have to stick someone else in there for the chopping.
Finally going for the Roshan now. Tundra makes the way over, though. Infest is ready. They're actually going to use it and go for that initiation. I mean, the vision is lacking, of course, in the pit. As I say that, the shards come out, so they're very aware of how low he is. Broodmother on the outskirts, going to throw in the Wraith Pact right there. Help things out, and now they're going in for the commitment. Roshan, he still has a good chunk of life. He's not dead just yet. Commit.
Oh no!
They read initiation, no XSS jumps in. Yeah, he goes into the back lines instead. They get the kill to Roshan. The Radiant actually gets the kill. The Aegis is picked up by Tusk at the last second. He goes down, but will be coming back up as a result. But it's still looking pretty good for Aster, I gotta say. Yeah, Tusk is dead again. And the initiation from XXS was beautifully timed with that arena. And despite the Aegis being snatched and even the Roshan kill, it just doesn't matter, KP. Aster, that's exactly what they wanted.
Yeah, Aster played that pretty damn well, actually. Things looked a little bit dicey when XSS goes in for the initiation, and Nine makes a good choice to just counter that initiation with his own initiation. But you saw the confidence in that pit. Like, the Aegis wasn't rushed to get picked up there. It was just everyone was getting stunned. There was no panic. Eventually, it does go in the hands of Tundra, but it feels like too much is given over by then. They're split and fighting two different fights where they're already underwhelming in comparison to the counterparts on the other side. Aster are able to take two separate fights and come out ahead in both. And Tundra are looking like they're going to come out behind in this game. Frisbee Lord has entered your base. All hail Frisbee Lord.
Oh my god, those towers melting. Now they're going for the ancient. Yeah, that ain't happening. The initiation, the onslaught going in for Primal Beast before distraction and anything. Luna in the back lines, though. She has that sidekick buff, remember, as well, helping. Tusk has the Infest inside of him. There's the Echo Sign that kill the Primal Beast, but Monet still standing his ground. He's got a Satanic. He's feeling still very healthy, and the Ancient currently at half-life. So Tundra is the last stand right here of sorts, but it just is going to be too little, too late, it feels like. Monet going for the Tusk kill, now goes back to the Ancient, and that should all but do it. A buyback. But it's just, I mean, well, they are going to try. Valiant effort here from Tundra to keep alive, actually. Monet, though, says, all right, I'll go for the Heroes then, get a little bit more farm out of this. Gonna kill 9 despite losing his teammate. Ultra kill, why not? And there's the official GG.
Yeah, they're like, well, okay, we can't kill the Luna. Let's just kill the Jakiro, and then we get morale boost because this one is done. Aster, dominant display to take the first at this best of two. I think the first win in the group stage.
And big congratulations to them. Again, a long journey ahead. 18 games in total that all these teams are playing, but still, it's got to feel good, right? It starts for your psyche, however you want to look at it. Aster taking the first game and up 1-0 in this series. You're in this best out of two, but great play by them. That fluid teamwork that we expected from Aster certainly showed off throughout that game. I do think it's certainly worth highlighting the draft, though, right? And kind of go start